Hey guys, as requested in the previous tier list video, I will make a new one about SR characters. As I mentioned in that comment, please keep in mind that this is going to be only about Dusk Arena. This because I don't advise to use this character outside of that mode, for the simple reason that they don't perform as well as SSR character, even the one in the S tier. So there's no reason to use them outside of Dusk Arena. It just doesn't make sense to me. And the tier list will be based on my experience in my server. I'm usually rank 2 every time we finish the season in Dusk Arena. And I will also keep in mind the character that the other people in the top 5 use for their team. Now in the screenshot that I put here, the ranking is messed up a little bit because we recently had the reset of the season, so not everybody that usually is at the top 5 is there, but I keep in mind the team from these people, from the top 5, because usually is the people that take most seriously the Dusk Arena in my server. As usual, remember to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want, and let's get into it. First of all, it's gonna be Passet, I think is the name, and it's gonna be S tier because other than a good damage, as you can imagine, because he's a mage class character, has a good damage and also freeze that, as usual, provide very good value. So for me, this one is very easy in S tier. You can argue and put him into A tier because I noticed that not everybody into the top 5 team use him, but for me, it's 100% S tier. I'm gonna put probably almost every assassin and warrior into C tier. I'm not gonna give explanation for that because they're simply not useful in this mode. As you know, most likely you already know, assassin and warrior class are the weakest one in this game, so everybody's gonna be C tier, almost everybody. One of the few exceptions is Bet, for the simple reason that at first, when you are in early game, the game gives you a lot of shard for Bet, so even if she's a warrior, at first she's gonna be over-leveled compared to everybody else in your team, and for this reason I think she's useful when you start, but when you start to have +7, plus 14, 16 characters, you're not gonna touch this character again because simply she doesn't keep up with mage and priest as usual in this game because she's a warrior. This one is also gonna be C. This one is gonna be the first A rank character. Is a priest. I personally don't use her, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it. But it's a character that a bunch of people in the top 5 use, so it's definitely gonna be a solid choice if you need a priest in your team. I would advise to use other priest, which we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, it's a solid choice, so it's gonna be A tier. We're gonna continue with a bunch of C tier, and then we're gonna have one of the most important S tier. This one, if I remember, the name is Daira, and she's going to be your main tank, or at least I advise you to make her your main tank, so in the middle of your front row. This is because other than being a priest, so healing your team, she has a very good self-healing, and that makes her a good choice for a tank. As you know, in this game, you use priest as a tank, you don't use warrior. This is gonna be another S tier. I think the name is Lisa, if I don't remember. Okay, yes, it's Lisa. I was checking on my phone. And this is gonna be another very good healer that you have in your team. It's not good at self-healing like the one we mentioned before, like Dira. So it's not gonna be your tank, but it's still gonna be in your front row. And yeah, as you can expect from a priest, her job is to heal, and she do a very good job at that. Then we're gonna continue with C tier. This one, if I remember correctly, is a priest, but I never saw anybody using this priest. I think it's not a very good one, so it's gonna end up in C tier like everybody else. This is gonna be A tier. This one is Charlotte, if I remember the name correctly. I actually put her recently in my team, and is the last character that I put in my team. So if there is anything, I will swap out this character for another one that I will show you later. The utility of this character is that she's a priest, so as you can imagine, healing, and she also provides some utility. I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but it was block. I will check when I edit the video and leave a note if it's not that one, because maybe I'm confusing it with another character. But yeah, it's I would say it's a very defensive oriented priest, so it's a very solid choice for your team. This one is actually my main damage dealer in my team. She's the character that provides more damage. The name is Gilderoy. I don't remember the name, and unfortunately I'm not here, but I'm gonna put like image if you want during the editing. And yeah, she's the main damage dealer in my team because she provides, other than damage, as you can imagine, being a DPS, she has burn as a malus, as a debuff for the enemy team. So of course, being burn, something that provides damage, she always end up dealing more damage than this character here because he provides freeze, which is like more like a CC than a malus that provide damage. So for this reason, she is the main damage dealer of my team. I think the priority is the same for these two characters. You could also argue to put this one into A tier because I know that other people don't use her in the top 5, but for me is definitely S tier. Is the most is the damage dealer of my team, basically the one that provides more damage. This one I would say B tier. I used to use this character when the Dusk Arena came out the first time. I just simply don't think that she provides as much utility as the character from A tier or S tier. So for this reason, I put her into B tier despite the fact that she's a mage. Same reason, this character, I used to use her, but then she just get overshadowed by other characters, so she's also gonna be a B tier. This is a very, very easy S tier. I forgot the name, I think it's Diana maybe? Where is it in my phone? I don't find her. Yes, it's Diana. And this one is the other damage dealer of my team. They almost all provide the same damage. This one provides a little bit more damage than my Diana, but she's very close and she's one level behind. So I think when she reaches the same level, she might actually provide the same amount of damage, if not more, as the other one. So yeah, this is a damage dealer that I see into every team in the top 5. So definitely a good choice, and you have no reason not to use her. This is gonna be C tier, C tier, C, C, and this one is gonna be A tier. Again, the reason is the same as this one. It's because I don't personally use them, but I see people from the other top 5, including the top 1 team, using this character. So it's definitely a solid choice. This one is gonna be C tier. This one is gonna be A tier. I think the name is Tiara. I am not 100% sure. Let me check. Yes, Tiara. And this one is A tier because if I had to take off Charlotte, I would put this one. She's still a priest, so as you can imagine, she's gonna heal your characters. But I feel like she's more damage oriented compared to Charlotte, is more defensive, because this one actually provides a buff for damage of your characters. So for this reason, I think if you need more defense, you're gonna put Charlotte. If you need more damage, you can put Tiara. Also depend on the level of your character. For me, Tiara is like 2 or 3 levels behind Charlotte, so this is another good reason for me to use Charlotte. But if they were at the same level, I would consider using her. This is gonna be C tier. This is gonna be B tier. The reason of B tier, even if it's a light character, is that in this mode for SR hero compared to SSR hero, you don't invest Universal Shard into them. Now, in the future, they might add Universal Shard for SR hero. I'm saying that because I saw that on Discord they have an emoji for that. I don't think they're in the game, but if they have an emoji, it means that somewhere they exist. So maybe they're gonna put them in the future, and this is gonna change the meta for Dusk Arena. For now, we don't have them. It's absolutely a terrible idea to use your Universal SSR Shard for this stuff, for like these characters. I don't even know if you can. You probably cannot, hopefully, because it would be terrible if someone did it. But yeah, for this reason, they are too far behind with the level, with the rank, at least in my situation. And so they don't provide a good enough damage like the character in S tier. If they were on the same rank, obviously they would be S tier and everybody would use them, but I don't see anyone in my server using them, at least in the top 5 team, for the reason that I just explained. This one is going to be C tier, C tier, C, C, and this one, for the same reason as before, is going to be a B tier. He's a good character, he has all the potential you need to be S tier, but just because you cannot invest into light and dark character in this mode, she's just not level high enough to compete with everybody else this in S tier and A tier. That's it for this video. Let me know if you disagree about something in the comment, especially if you're from an older server than mine, so maybe the meta is already different in yours. Leave any comments so if you want. Like the video, subscribe, and that's it. Have a good day. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.